Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. You know those really bad days at work where you just want to chuck a brick through a glass window? That's been my day today. It's just been one of those days where nothing went right and people were just awful, and I just felt like Cersei off of Game of Thrones. I just wanted to choose violence, but I also wanted to keep my job, so I didn't. And so I came home, I jogged a couple miles, I took a hot shower, I poured a drink and said, I'm gonna watch Demon Slayer. Because I was like, the last two episodes of Demon Slayer have been so much fun, even though they've been crazy and intense. And I just watched episode 2 a couple days ago, but I couldn't wait. I was like, I need something to make me feel better, and Demon Slayer it is. It called to me. And so we're on episode 3 of Demon Slayer, and the first 2 episodes have just been bonkers, just crazy. Tengen adds this, there's just an air of wildness to him, but it's like a refined and cultured wildness. Again, it's like Inosuke. It's like if Inosuke was polished into a diamond, a flashy diamond, that would be Tengen. And so I'm really hoping this is Inosuke's arc. I'm really hoping that he has an arc in this season, because we need... Inosuke is probably, of the 3 of them, Inosuke has always been my least favorite, and so I want him to bump up into comparing to Tanjiro and Zenitsu. So that would be great, but what an episode. Just dressing our boys up as these 3 girls and trying to pawn them off to different houses to work, to try to infiltrate and discover where Tengen's wives are. It's just crazy. We found one. We found Makio. Inosuke's found her in the clutches of what is probably our season's antagonist, the demon geisha. All right. But I do have one comment. Wushin Sweebian on Patreon was talking about the fact that Tanjiro is descended from sun breathers, and brought up the idea that, if the demon's biggest fear is the sun breathing would be quite a threat to Muzan. And I'm like, yep, it would be. So that may explain, if Muzan recognizes... So far the demons have recognized, several of them have recognized the earrings, and even Rengoku's father recognized the earrings. So I'm curious if Muzan, after seeing those earrings, was like, yep, you're a threat, we need to get rid of you. And that's why he's been targeting Tanjiro. And now that Akaza has met him, he wants to target him too, for different reasons. I don't think it's because of the sun breathing, it's for reasons tied to Rengoku and that whole battle during the Mugen Train arc. But yeah, there's no doubt that if Muzan knows that Tanjiro is a sun breather or descended from one, he's going to be a big target. He's a big threat, and Muzan's going to want to eliminate that. So yeah, so I decided, let's just do this. Let's just watch some Demon Slayer. Why not? So I'm pretty excited, y'all. I hope you are too, but we're not going to waste any more time. I am recording a bit ahead. Like I said, it's only been a couple days since I recorded season 2, and that's not aired on Patreon yet. But I'm also going to be out of town next weekend on a very short little mini vacation, so I wanted to record ahead so that everything would be uploaded and ready to go by the time I left. So I am recording. I'm going to record a little bit ahead on all of my shows, just so that I'm ready for when I go. So if you guys do leave comments down below, I will try to get to them when we get back. It may be a couple episodes from now, but I will get to them. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. I'm pretty excited to see what kind of antics our boy Inosuke gets into. I don't know if I'd face a demon head on, but Inosuke seemed to have a pretty level head on him so far, so we'll see. But we're going to start episode 3 of Demon Slayer, and we're going to do that here. Make sure my subtitles are on here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do this. Oh, this episode was great. This episode was so great. What? I didn't think I could wait to watch episode 3, and now I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait to watch episode 4 to see what happened with Zenitsu. So Makio's been kidnapped. Zenitsu has been. We don't know where they're being held at. There's some kind of... These ribbons have TARDIS dimension defying properties that let them defy the laws of physics. What? So where is she? Is she like a spider keeping them all up in a web? Where is she keeping Makio? Where are the other 2 wives? Are they alive? This episode was really good. Really good. Getting to know our demon that we're going to face in the upper... So it's in the upper 6, right? So we don't know if she's number 6 or if she's number... Usually, the sad thing is, I don't know. I'm thinking of Bleach. In Bleach, Halle Bell was number 2, right? I think she was the second one in Bleach. She was like the second strongest, but in that series, the second strongest the numbers didn't mean much. Because that series, the numbers didn't mean much, really, in all honesty. But I don't know what number this demon is, if she's number 6 or if she's number 5 or 4 or 3. I kept wanting, for some reason, I said in the last couple episodes, I thought Akaza was like number 3 for some reason, but I could be wrong. He could be number 5 or 6. I don't know. I feel like she's not one of the upper echelon, because I feel like she's not one of the top 3, only because Muzan makes a comment about her getting stronger, and she's super subservient to him. She does not talk back. She knows her place. She knows her place. She does not talk back to him. She does exactly what he says. She does exactly what the demons in like the last episode of season 1 should have done, but did not. She just listens to what he has to say, does what he tells her, and then waits till he leaves to like take control of her own little territory. But when he's there, she's subservient to him. But I feel that when he says she's going to get stronger, I feel if you're like one of the top 3 upper moons, the threshold has been met. So, I mean, what else is there to do? So I feel like maybe she's trying to rise the ranks in the upper 6. That's what she's getting at. So that makes me think she's like maybe number 4, 5, or 6. We don't know yet. But she's an old demon. She's been around for a while. They established back at the end of season 1 that the upper 6 moons have not changed for centuries. And she's killed 7 Hashira. And she's been in this position for several hundred of years. Because we started out with, when they said Edo, Yoshiwara, I was like, Edo, but it's the Edo period. So it's before it was Japan, right? It was the Edo period. And it's the same place. And so you get to kind of see what the district looked like before modern times. It doesn't look too different. It doesn't look too different. But it's starting to get modernized. And so we see this woman going after... And she's doing the same routine, going after the demon, where she does the same routine where she tests the lipstick on the paper. And then this woman suspected that she was causing trouble, saying that people were vanishing from her house. And what are you doing on the sly? And we don't see her face at the moment, but we know it's her. It's the same demon. Yeah. And then she goes into the house, and then she leaves. So there's something about that woman's ribbons that defy the laws of physics, that allow her to use the ribbons to transport bodies and things into different places, or to eat them, or to do something. It's like a spider. It's weird. So because Inosuke was trying to sense it, and it moves very quickly. It moves from one house to the next. Now, we don't know, the thing about this is since we're split up into 3 different houses, what we don't know as the audience is, okay, how does time work in this story? Is the stuff with Inosuke chasing after the demon happening at the exact same time as Tanjiro scrubbing the floors, happening at the exact same time as Zenitsu with the 3 girls? Like, is all of this happening simultaneously, or are we chronologically going from Inosuke to Zenitsu and to Tanjiro? We don't know that because they're in different locations, so we can't keep track. And the guy in the OP is the guy that Zenitsu punches, the guy with the blush. Fitting. But yeah, and the 3 girls are the ones with Zenitsu, and Inosuke tracking down the demon. Inosuke, again, I think this is going to be, I keep thinking, and then, Michael Jackson Muzan appears. I feel like it's going to be Inosuke's arc, but then we also get a lot with Zenitsu in this episode, but Zenitsu gets captured, supposedly, at the ending there. I was so excited that we got an end credit scene, and then he gets kidnapped. Of course he does. But we haven't seen anything out of Nezuko at all, which is interesting. Nezuko's beautiful, so I wonder if Muzan makes a very big point to call Nezuko beautiful. So I'm wondering, or to call the demon beautiful. Muzan makes a big point. So I'm wondering if Nezuko, if she pops out as a demon, if that's going to cause some jealousy for the upper moon, if that ends up happening. But we need to dive into this episode. So yeah. So we instantly get Makio in the Ogimoto house, and she's trying to figure out information about Tengen, and Makio's not answering questions. So yeah, I don't know, because she said she's going to crush her organs, but then she moves through the house with her, so it's like, what did she end up doing? How did she transport people? There's something about whatever her powers are that can transport people, so I'm very curious. I've also noticed something too in Demon Slayer that's interesting, is that everyone's eyes are different. Like, some eyes are really animated with like lots of like lights and pupils. Other eyes have no pupils. Other eyes have like a little glimmer. Some don't. Zenitsu's have like a X in the middle of it. It's interesting. But it's so funny to watch Inosuke. We're so used to seeing Inosuke with the boar's head on, and the boar's head very much represents like his actual personality. So when he's gruff and grumbly and thinking things out, it's like, okay, we know that's Inosuke. But when he takes the boar's head off and it's this beautiful, pretty face that's like seriously contemplating, it's kind of hilarious because the words that Inosuke is thinking and his voice do not match his face at all. So it's really funny. But I do like the narrative thing that we do where we address where Zenitsu early on figured out that the woman of the house died, and he calls attention to that. And then later in the episode, we flash back to that and see what led to that happening. And it's very similar to what happened to the woman, I'm sure, at the very beginning of the episode. But I love that Zenitsu's been keeping his mouth shut because Tengen told him to, because he sounds too gruff. And that's ruined now, although maybe people just didn't notice because it was in spur of the moment. But Zenitsu using his ears to eavesdrop and listen in on all the conversations is genius. I love that. I love that Inosuke is just using his instincts to investigate. Zenitsu is using his sound, his ears to investigate. Tanjiro is using his sense of smell and the power of being a pure cinnamon roll. But they're all doing their strengths to try and eavesdrop and figure out information and intel. And that's really, really cool. I like that a lot. And that's where Zenitsu hears the girl crying and then thinks, oh my God, a girl in trouble. And so, but that's interesting. So here's the thing. At first, when the demon turns her head and like listens for the sound, we think it's because of Inosuke coming up. And she does say that's Inosuke, but I thought when she turned her head is that she noticed Zenitsu was there. And I was like, oh, I wondered if she could sense if Zenitsu, which now we know that he went into her bedroom. So I wonder if that's all connected. I wonder if she like establishes a room in each of the houses and that's like her base and she can transport from house to house like through there. I wonder if that's the case. She just warps herself through the houses using the fabric. I don't know. She's been there for hundreds of years, so it would make sense if she put in place, if she went from house to house and took each house over and installed like some kind of connecting route from house to house so she could easily infiltrate and get in and out. That would make the most sense because she's been there so long. She would have had time to do so. But also she clearly can hear well because she hears Inosuke coming. And this whole scene, like the animation with Inosuke in the Ogamoto house is gorgeous. It's so good. And Makia's trying to find a way to let Lord Tengen, as she calls him, know what's up. And then I like that Inosuke sees the food and drink. I love contemplative planning Inosuke. Inosuke not just running headfirst into battle without thinking. I love that Inosuke has grown over the course of a season where he's not just, because in season 1, especially when they faced the spiders, he just ran headfirst into any boss he found and just tried to swing his swords and see what he could do. But here, he recognizes a threat and that it feels creepy and he doesn't like it. He doesn't know what to do and he's constricted by all this clothing. So he's just trying to play it smart and figure it out. And I'm like, for Inosuke, I'm like, you're turning a new leaf, Inosuke. I like this. But then, yeah, he goes in there, opens the door, and they're gone. I love that expression. He's like, oh, and there's just slashes and everything. But you see the slashes and stuff in the walls and everything. That's where the ribbons have gone into the walls. So they've somehow taken Makia with her. Like, how? How is that possible? I'm assuming we're going to find out. It's demon powers, so I'm assuming we're going to find out. But what? And they went upstairs. But yeah, they went through the slashes in the wall. That's where the ribbons were. And I love that he's like, the wind. He can feel the wind but it's daylight, even though the windows are closed. Yep, the attic. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I'm on to you. Oh, I love it. Oh my God. And you just see it moving through the ceiling. It's so creepy. I loved this scene. I loved Inosuke running down the hallway after it and just the intensity and like just trying to figure it all out. And UFO Table, because it's UFO Table and their animation's freaking gorgeous. Like everything is great. Like the way they blend CGI and everything. I love it. And just him jumping off the walls. I love it. And it's daytime. So it has to come down the walls at some point. Oh, yeah. Oh. And he's going to punch the wall to get to the demon. And that drunk ass man is right there. Oh. And all the women are like, oh my God, you punched our patron. But he goes and he senses it. He senses the demon get through the walls and it fled downstairs. I love they chase after it and we get the camera shots. Ufotable's so good at doing camera angles, especially during like chase scenes. And then I love that Inosuke's like, I'm trying to get a feel for it, but he can't because of all this restrictive clothing. I love it. I've lost sight of it. Damn it. Oh, it's so funny seeing him be so mad with his helmet, with his forehead's off, and then we see his pretty face be so angry, and that voice doesn't match at all. It's so good. It's because people got in my way. That was the one thing. He's like, it's because these people got in my way. If I had been by myself, I could have found her. But you'd also probably be dead, so oh man, Inosuke. I'm wondering, I'm hoping that line about people getting in the way doesn't stop him from getting help from Tengen and Tanjiro later. I hope that doesn't stop him. Because it's like, yeah, those people did get in your way, Inosuke, but also, you could not have fought that demon on your own. No way. No, not if she's killed like 7 Hashira. But yeah, I like that this episode is establishing that Inosuke and Zenitsu have potential to become Hashira. They're not there yet. During the reaction, like the fact that Zenitsu could tell she was a demon, the fact that Inosuke could sense something was off, and usually normal humans don't know something. She's been there with Maki interrogating, and nobody else in the house has even questioned it because they haven't sensed anything out of whack. But Inosuke did sense something, so I like that even though Inosuke and Zenitsu are not Hashira material yet, there is potential there because they've already met that criteria of being able to detect what a normal human could not. So that's really cool. I like that. And just right about that time, Zenitsu goes into the room with the little girl. The little girl that's been helping her, which is creepy that this little girl has been helping her, but I guess that she didn't have a choice. That's normal, par for the course. And she's been hit. Like, you can tell she's been hit on the cheek and her mouth, that she's been slapped around. Nope. But, yeah, he's asking if she's okay, and then she just cried. And I like that Zenitsu... Thank goodness in this episode, Zenitsu does not like have an over-exaggerated, like animated, like freak out yell moment. Zenitsu does not do that. Instead, he acts like a freaking big brother and he's adorable and he comforts her and he's like, okay, calm down, settle down. I didn't mean anything. Like he's very kind and considerate. And he's like, I wasn't angry with you, okay? He's like, I'm sorry if you're in any kind of trouble. And that's when he senses, and she's just right there. She just pops in. She just pops in. And he senses that she's there. Oh, I want to get a picture of Zenitsu with her behind him because that's a really good shot. That's great. I'll probably have to go back and get some pictures of Inosuke because he looked really great in this episode. But, ooh, that's a shot. Yeah, so Zenitsu, he could hear her. Just like with Nezuko in the box, he could hear she doesn't sound human. And she was just right there. Oh. She takes this surprisingly well. I guess because it's still daytime. And she has to save face and she doesn't want to cause a scene. It's still daytime as far as we know, so she can't go outside and expose herself. So she has to somewhat stay rational after she punches Zenitsu. But he's like, oh, there's a demon standing right behind me. That's not what a human sounds like. Yeah, and he's just terrified because of how quickly she got there and she just appeared. And the sound is bad news. And it's so quiet that I'm terrified. Yeah, so she's not even drawing attention to herself. And she's had all these years to hone it. Yeah, she's an upper rank demon for sure. Yup. And yeah, she's just like, are you hard of hearing or something? It's like, no, the exact opposite. And then the other two girls come. So Warabahime. And they note that every time she's, made the rounds in town over the course of several hundred years, she always dons the name Hime. And Hime always ends up in her name, so it's for princess. And Zenitsu covers very well. He covers very well. He's like, oh, this girl was crying. And then, of course, she's like, could you be any uglier? I'm surprised that she doesn't know he's a guy. Like, she doesn't sense that he's a guy. At this point, I feel like everybody should realize he's a man, but maybe she doesn't care. And she just seems like she just doesn't care. She's more or less aggravated the fact that he's in her room. And she's like, what's up with your hair color? Do you actually want to stand out? And that's funny that she says that. Do you want to stand out? Because she's been all these years infiltrating the crowd and trying to blend in and not stand out. Just be noticeable enough to rise up the ranks. But and that could be a very big metaphor for her as a demon too. Her whole thing has been to rise up the ranks, but do so not noticeably. And that could be a reflection too of her as an upper moon trying to rise up the ranks in those, as far as those are concerned, but not do it in a noticeable fashion. Yeah. And so she's like, the room is still in shambles. So maybe she's interrogated the other wife in here. We don't know for sure. But we think that this is probably when she killed the owner. So that's why it's in shambles maybe. And then she had told the girl to clean it up. But I love that she grabs her. I mean, she grabs her by the ear, but she yanks so hard and presses down with her nails so hard it causes her to bleed. Like, that's hard. Like, for her to grab her ear and to do it so tightly that it makes her bleed. Oh, and that's when Zenitsu's like, put her down. Like, I love this. I love that shot too. That's a great shot. Because he's just like, how dare you. Zenitsu and Inosuke, they had some great moments this episode. I was very impressed with our boys. They had some great moments. And then Tanjiro. Meanwhile, Tanjiro, oh my god. So I got such Spirited Away vibes from Tanjiro. He's got the little bow in his hair. He's doing a little thing like the Chihiro, like doing the mopping the floors like in the bathhouse of Spirited Away. He's cleaned everything. So, because he was the eldest sibling in like this working family. So of course he's used to cleaning everything and doing house chores. But he does everything, makes the perfect flower arrangements, like the most beautiful possible, to the point where the woman is like, I have nothing else for you to do. She's like, you can't be a courtesan, you're too ugly, but I don't have anything else for you to do. He's like, I've scrubbed the hallways, the Mizukiri and the Mizuwake flowers, the flowers. And he's like, what else do you want me to do? And I changed the water. And she's like, really? I have nothing else. And he even like fixes the doorway so it'll shut better. And she's like, oh God, how do I do? And he fixes her tea. She's like, I don't know what to have you do. But he's trying to figure out what to do. And I got very Rengoku vibes where he's like, Madame, what next? Madame, what next? I got such Rengoku vibes in that moment from Tanjiro. But he's such a perfect cinnamon bun. He can't help it. Oh, that was great. And so she's like, oh, be quiet, hold on a second. And then we cut back to Inosuke. And she's like, the woman that in Inosuke's house is like, oh my God, this brat like punched a hole in the wall. I'm going to teach her a lesson. I love this scene where she goes to like punish Inosuke and says, Inoko. And he's just sitting there, what on earth are you doing? And it's just him like in this pose, like in this epic yoga pose, trying to like sense the demon in the air. He's like, I can't sense even if I focus. Where the hell did it go? I love it. Like, and then this spin move? What is this? What is this business? That animation was so smooth and fluid. It was absolutely amazing. I was like, oh my God, Inosuke. And she's just like, UFO table. Mwah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then we cut back to Zenitsu. The balls on Zenitsu to be like, unhand her. That's a good shot too. Zenitsu has like all the best shots in this episode. Damn. Yes. What did you say? Yeah, let's hear you say it again. And he's like, take your hands off her. Take your damn hands off her. Zenitsu standing up to an upper moon demon to tell her to let go of a little child just made Zenitsu rise like 3 ranks in my book. Like, just the ball. And he's doing it while he's awake. He's being badass and not running away and not being a coward while he's awake. I'm like, Zenitsu, my dude. I love how much he cares, especially for like girls. But for kids in general and everything. She's like up closer, even uglier than I thought. And then she just punches him. Oh. Yeah, and she just whop. Oof. And then we get 2 days before with And I love the way they zoomed in there like 2 days before. Tanjiro and them infiltrated the house. And then we go back to this flashback with the demon. And her saying that people are getting hurt here and committing Ashinake and suicide. That's what. Oh, you may as well bully them to death. Yep. I'm like, oh, that's a harsh thing to say. And then she does the thing. She's like, are you not going to take my side? And she does a little head tilt. Do you think it's their own fault for irritating me? And I love the red light. The red light that's a symbol of like everything's okay. And then once the light goes out, it's like, oh, it's done. There's something not right about you. I can't protect you. And her tilting her head. Oh. And she's like, I'm the one that helped you earn all of these to make your house prosper. You hag. You baba. And that's when that woman noticed the head tilt. And she's like, when I was still a child, the old lady from the tea house told me the story about the courtesan. And you see her swinging her little feet. It's so cute. About a certain Oron. So she gives like the whole history that was beautiful but twisted by nature. And how she had seen her when she was a child. And so it's like you've outlived everything. It keeps being the same one. They always take the name Hime. So it was like Yatama Hime then. And if anything were to irritate them, they'd cock their heads to the side and glare at you from below. The unique habit they shared. Like you. Oh, and I love like, what are you? Oh, and she has the knife behind her. Like she came prepared to fight. Are you not human? And then I love that they go out the window and up into the air, but they couldn't do that in the daytime. So they couldn't have done that in the air. So how she gets through the windows and everything, she clearly goes through the walls, which is interesting. I'm sure that at this point she's had enough time in this city that in each of the houses, she has probably made trapdoors and hidden walls and things where she can instantly go in and out without being seen or noticed by anybody else. I'm sure she's done that by this point and had plenty of time to construct it. So, you know. But God, her holding... I'm surprised nobody up in the air saw her, especially with it being nighttime. But then again, they're all distracted by the city. It's up in the air. They wouldn't know to look up. It's just stroke of luck that she wasn't seen by anybody. But all those ribbons, it's like literally... like Medusa almost. It's just snakes, right? And then her outfit itself is pretty skimpy. Like once she lets her hair down and everything. But she has like the ornate symbol on her cheek. A pretty omitsu. Upper 6, yeah. And she is very pretty. Aside from like the whole demon, like the flower and everything. And she just lets her fall to her death. And then she goes into the window and sees our man. Sees old Michael Jackson Muzan. There he is. And she's like, oh, Master Muzan. And she instantly blushes. Like she has a crush on him. Which Muzan's a very handsome man if he wasn't like a demon and evil. Right? But she instantly does what a lot of the other demons do not do. She bows before him and shuts her mouth and just listens to him. Because she knows what's up. And he's like, the more things go your way, the more apt you are to get the rug pulled from under you. He's trying to warn her of what's possibly to come. And all she says is understood. She doesn't argue. She doesn't say, yes, I know. She just says understood, and that's all it takes. She's like, I'm not going to squabble with him. And so he's saying a skilled member of the Demon Slayer Corps, a Hashira, could recognize us as demons right away. Yeah, but aside from those capable as a Hashira, then nobody else knows. So it's just establishing that like Inosuke and Zenitsu, they are capable of becoming Hashira. They're just not there yet. Yeah. The things that humans have no knowledge of. So yeah. And then he walks towards her. Daki. He calls her Daki. Let me put that down here for episode 4. Her name is Daki. And she's the upper 6 moon. And her other name is Warabihime. Is her nickname. But Daki. Okay. Interesting. And she says yes with a blush. Yes, Master Muzan. He says, I have high hopes for you. No one is as beautiful as you, nor as strong. Ah, you've disposed of 7 Hashira. So she likes him, and he's just preying on the fact that she's so loyal to him. You're going to become more powerful even from here on out. Like just that pose where he's like leaning down and you'll become cruel. You're an extraordinary demon. Uh-huh. Yeah, that pose is so like him just cusping her face in his hands. Like he could crush it any moment, but he's so delicate with her chin. And she's just grabbing onto his arm. Yeah, like she clearly likes him. And I'm sure what's fueling her most of her embodiment as a demon is the fact that she likes him and wants to be with him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. And then we cut back to the present. But she's going to do more. But then the owners of the house show up. And they beg her. They're like, we're about to open. Our customers will be arriving. I'll be sure to reprimand her harshly. So for now, please just help me save some face. And I'm surprised she didn't get onto him. She didn't lash out at him at all. But it is... There are lots of people around, and he's not by himself. Now, will she get rid of him later? That could be. But I think in that moment, she's like, okay, I need to quit drawing attention to myself. I need to put back on the courtesan, the in charge, totally in control face, and I'll go get this boy later. But right now, I just need to do what I've been doing, is what it sounds like. And I'm surprised she just pours on the charm like she does, just instantly right back at it. Ugh. Yep. And then she's like, even though he's blacked out, he went on the defensive. Mm-hmm. Poor guy. And then these girls are helping her get ready. And she like has the lipstick and everything. And she's like, it took you a bit of time, but you did a good job bringing him in. Just keep them coming. So I don't know if she's like saying bring on more Demon Corps members. Like if she thinks that Zenitsu is the one that's been sent to go after her. But she's like, he's not a Hashira. So I don't know. And she's like, I'll be happy to kill and devour them all. So yeah, and then Tanjiro's like, the air smells murky. Something's amiss. Something's going on. I don't know. And so the question though is, so we go back to Zenitsu and the 3 girls saying, are you okay, Zenko? And he's like, oh, it's fine. And he puts the rag to his cheek. And they're like, are you okay? And he's like, oh, it's not as bad as it looks. And then, of course, Zenitsu's like, he almost gives himself away. He's like, any man would rescue a damsel in distress. That's a given. It's like, he's so like Sanji at times. It's like, Zenitsu. But he dials it back. I'm like, anybody can see. I feel like all 3 girls can see through his ruse. Like, he's like, not that I'm a man, right? I mean, any human would see. Zenitsu, you're not fooling anybody. The eldest daughter or whatever. Aw. I like that we have the 3 girls here in the house. And then back at the butterfly mansion, there are the 3 other girls. Like, they're kind of modeled similarly. Wonder if that's like a trope the mangaka has created. But they're like, that's not true. Everyone here has their hands full just taking care of themselves. So they're like, yeah, you say that anybody would do it, Zenitsu, but that's not the case. There's a lot of people who would be selfish and would not do it. Would not do what you're doing. We've never met a person as kind-hearted as you before. And he's just like, oh. And that's so sweet. Yeah, take care of yourself. Get lots of rest. I can't tell if those 3 girls are working with the demon, if they're in on the secret that she's a demon, because the demon was talking about devouring humans in front of them, or was that the demon's inner monologue? We don't know, because we didn't get to see if she spoke that line of dialogue or not. We just see her speaking with the girls helping her get ready, and she's talking, and then we cut away off screen. Then she says, I'll kill and devour them all. And it's like, did you say that in front of those little girls? Are they in on the secret? Like, what's going on? Have they lured Zenitsu in? Was it all an act to lure him in? Because he wishes them goodbye, and then he has the whole thing pressed to his cheek, like the towel. And he has this, like, sincere, soft look, like I did good. Zenitsu's like, I did good. I protected those girls. I did my job. I'm a good person. And then right around that time, as he, like, softens his face, then the ribbons, like, grab him. true. And then we cut to getting the Christmas episode. I forgot that the Demon Slayer story this season was happening. This episode, according to Crunchyroll, was released on December 19th. So it was right around Christmas time this was released. Of course it was. Yep. And so we get to, of course, Zenitsu with the roses behind him and the suit on reminds me of Tamaki from Ouran High School Host Club. He reminds me of Tamaki. He really does. And the blonde hair doesn't hurt. And then even like, he's like, I've invited Nezuko to the Christmas party. It's like he tries to look he looks a lot older in that one shot where he's like, yes. Zenitsu and his like crush on Nezuko. And he has them as like little wedding cake toppers on there. It has the bottle of wine, the Christmas gifts, and the turkey. Oh my gosh. From straight to the party to our wedding. Oh my god. And I love Nezuko has the bread loaf in her mouth. And then of course Tanjiro and Inosuke are there. And Giyu showed up for some reason. Giyu's there in a suit with a paddle. Inosuke has like a spear and Tanjiro looks like a samurai. Like, what is happening? I never invited you guys, and what's with those outfits? And they're like, he's like, none of you have ever been invited to a Christmas party, am I right? And then Zenitsu, it says Zenitsu's never been invited either. Oh, everyone except Nezuko go home. And they're like, tell me what Christmas is, damn it. That's so freaking cute. So cute. So yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait a week. Especially if we don't know what's happening to Makio or Zenitsu now. Now Zenitsu's a target. I wonder though if Zenitsu is going to be able to use thunder breathing to escape. I don't know, because you'd think Makio would have been able to escape as well since she's a ninja. But I don't know if she's a ninja and a demon slayer or just a ninja. So maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. But this episode was really good. This is my favorite so far. I loved it. It had a little bit of humor in it, but it was mainly just like that action and fast paced, like jumping around. And there's the mystery with Daki. There's a mystery there about her powers that we're not sure how they work completely yet. I'm excited to find out what that is when we get more of her. I'm excited to get her backstory. Like, there has to be clearly a reason she's doing all this. I'm excited for that. I'm very excited to get more on her and to see her past. And then to see more with Tengen, because we've seen his mysterious like flashbacks in the OP, so I'm curious when we're gonna get that. But I'm really excited, y'all. But I hope you enjoyed this reaction discussion. I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below. But yeah, I'm so curious now to see what's gonna happen. But we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Demon Slayer. Bye.